What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Tesla Talk Tuesday. Some interesting things have been going on with Tesla, more specifically Tesla stock. Now, if you know, you know, but if you don't, Tesla did a 5-for-1 stock split. So they were trading at, I don't know, well over $2,000 a share as of the close Friday, August 28th. I think I did the math right. So yesterday, August 31st, was the day that they started trading post-split. So they opened at like $435 a share, I wanna say. They had a crazy day yesterday. They rallied over 12%. They were up another like, I don't know, 2 or 3% after hours. Pre-market today, they were trading at $533 a share, somewhere up there, some crazy number. Yeah, so that would actually put their stock price at over $2,500 pre-split, obviously. So it's easier to sort of put that into perspective that way. But they did a $5 billion stock offering. So what a lot of companies do is when their stock has a huge run up, they'll take that as an opportunity to say like, hey, maybe it's overvalued, maybe it's not, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna sell extra shares of stock in order to raise money. So this is good and bad. You see, it's good because it gives you extra cash so that, you know, the company can operate and has extra cash on hand. Now, the downside is you're diluting the shares, which is a negative for shareholders and therefore usually drives the price down. So yeah, needless to say, when they announced that, or when it came out in the news this morning, the stock went from 530 down to like 500, and then it opened, and well, right now I'm looking at it, it's trading at $476 a share. It's down 4.5%, down 22 points. I mean, you can just see it right here. It's just, yeah, see, it's not always great when they do an offering like this. However, I will say that they are still up from where the stock traded post-split, which is like $430, $440 a share. So because of that crazy rally yesterday, they're still up from after the split price. So, you know, it's not all that bad because that means long-term they have extra cash. Also, they've had a crazy run up the last month. I think they were up like 70 or 80% in 1 month, which is insane. I think it's Tesla's best month ever as a stock. They were getting close to like they were over 450 billion in market cap. So yeah, this pullback, they should have a significant pullback. They probably will. I'm hoping Battery Day will be the next sort of bump, but that's not until September 22nd. So we have quite a ways to go before Battery Day, which means the stock could fluctuate or maybe just sit flat until then, but only time will tell. Either way, just thought that was interesting, and yeah, on with some other interesting news. So they say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. What's interesting is usually, you know, you think it's like, you know, China-made goods or whatever. They're the ones that usually copy things and make a lesser, cheaper product. That's like, you know, the known stigma there. However, if you look at the Volkswagen ID.4, which I believe they're taking pre-orders for now online, the interior looks eerily familiar. Yeah, Model 3, Model Y, center display, horizontally mounted. It looks basically exactly like the interior of the Model 3 and Y. It's interesting. I mean, I guess that's a good thing. They're kind of like taking note from Tesla and being like, hey, maybe we should make a similar product. So what will be very interesting is if they start to, if you see car companies sort of take an approach of over-the-air software updates going forward. But either way, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and well, the ID.4 looks eerily similar to the Model 3 and the Model Y interior. So I guess we'll see how well it does, but I still think a big selling point with Tesla is that if you're going all electric, you're still going to get the most range with any like comparable Tesla in like the class. So like if you're looking at the Model 3 versus the ID.4, I'll be curious to see what the range on the ID.4 is when it actually comes out and what like the Model 3 range is at that point in time. So yeah, I mean the Model S is crushing it with, you know, over 400 miles of range. Model 3 is crushing it over 300 miles of range. And most competitors aren't even in that ballpark, let alone the access to the supercharging network. It just makes road tripping that much easier. You put in your destination, it tells you where to stop. There's a significant amount of superchargers. I mean, I did the trip from Maryland down to Florida, no issues. Stopped at superchargers that were, you know, probably less than 5 minutes off the highway at most. Some of them maybe a minute or two right off the exit ramp. So very convenient, very easy, and it's built right into the Tesla nav to go to all of them. So without that network, I wouldn't have an electric car, I'll be completely honest. It just would not be worth it to me. So yeah. Now, speaking of Model 3 and Model Y, obviously we have the Shanghai Gigafactory pumping out Model 3s, but there was apparently a prototype Model Y spotted with like that camo wrap in China, so they could have a nice ramp up of Model Y soon. The Model 3s are doing fantastic there, so hopefully those will come out soon. Keep bumping those sales for Tesla, increase revenue, increase EPS, all that good stuff, and hopefully the stock price will continue to rise. But only time will tell. Either way, it is neat to see these prototypes going around. I think Model Y's in China. There could be a big ramp up. All right, so as most people know by now, Tesla has announced that they're building their next Gigafactory in Austin, Texas. If you are looking for a job at Tesla and you want to live in Austin, or you already do, definitely browse their website because there's dozens of job listings at this point. But what's interesting is that it looks like they're looking for like mobile game developers and UI developers, which is kind of crazy. So they're getting into like this mobile gaming space. And what will be interesting is how can they monetize this going forward? So obviously they can do their own games. However, they could always make games in-house and then make them for like Android and Apple and then make money off of those, which would be another revenue stream. So it's very interesting what they're doing. They're definitely touching on a lot of markets here, but as you know, they have some awesome games on, well, newer cars, not mine because it's too old. I do have some games on mine, but they're basic sort of older games. But you can actually hook up like gaming controllers into the Tesla and play games in your car using like an Xbox controller or something like that. So while you're sitting at a supercharger, or even if you're at your house and your kids want to play some games, then go hang out in the Tesla. It is pretty neat, but it is crazy to see that they're actually opening jobs for like game developers, UI developers, and things like that. So if you're interested, go peruse the job listings at Tesla in Austin because there are plenty of them. Speaking of Tesla's like visual graphics, I guess the full self-driving computer, there's now like graphics for that basically are showing speed limit signs. So Teslas are going to be reading the speed limit signs and updating the speed of the cars on the fly based on the computers and the camera's ability to read those speeds, process that, and then realize like, oh, the speed just dropped from 55 to 35. Maybe there's construction zones, things like that. So speed limit signs that wouldn't normally be there or aren't pre-programmed into the Tesla can now pick that up just via signs on the road. So it is always cool to see this progress. Obviously, I don't see this progress really firsthand in my car. I read about it online, but it is neat nonetheless. And I guess I can't wait to see it once I get another vehicle. Whether or not that's a Model 3 Performance, or if I wait all the way until the Cybertruck comes out, it will be one of those two. Most likely. Pretty sure. More to come. Last thing I want to talk about today is something I mentioned, I think, in a prior Tesla Talk Tuesday. Basically, there's this company, I believe they're based in Canada. If you've seen Rich Rebuilds, who rebuilt a Tesla Model S P85 actually, I think the electrified garage installs this performance boost, effectively, is what they do. So Tesla offers an acceleration boost for $2,000. They offer it for like around $1,000, I think. Basically, it's cheaper than going through Tesla. Now, what's interesting is Tesla basically came out and figured out when people were using this sort of like hack in the software, and then would present a warning message on their screen saying that you basically can't do this, like bring the car in for service. We need to, you know, go back to the regular Tesla software and get rid of this hack. Now this company has come out and updated the module. So they thought they could do it through a software update. However, they realized they needed to update the hardware. So I think they sent out a new piece of hardware for free. And it's pretty funny because if you look at the piece of hardware, it literally says on the hardware, "Nice try module." So they're basically saying, nice try Tesla, you tried, but we still found a way around it. Now, what is interesting is a lot of what Tesla does is that they'll build basically a fully spec'd car, and then they'll limit things based on the software. So some things like that might be acceleration boost. Obviously, it does sort of depend on the drive units that you have, but acceleration, sometimes HomeLink is installed in the car, but it's not enabled, so you would have to pay for that. Heated seats, ambient lighting. So things like that are controlled by software, and if you don't pay for them or get like the premium, nicer model, you're not gonna have access to them, but they're in theory on the car and ready to go, just have to be unlocked via software. So this company's module can not only unlock the acceleration boost, but here's a list of all the things that it can also enable on the car. So it is pretty neat. If you look at this list, you can see that this new module will unlock heated rear seat control, ambient lights, automatic driver door opening, automatic front and trunk opening with proximity sensors, drift mode, battery pack heating, manual wiper control, and live data. So this is pretty neat to see, and I guess kind of as I mentioned in the video where I talked about Tesla sort of going against these hackers, is that like if you go out and buy any other car, you can in theory do an engine swap on it. You can put bigger turbos on it. You can do whatever you want to modify the car. Even on the interior, you can add ambient lighting. Either way, you could go out and modify your car however much you want, but a lot of times it could or potentially void your warranty if you're messing with something specific to, I guess, whatever goes wrong that you need fixed, if it directly relates. In this case, because software controls so much, if you mess with the software, in theory, you could void your entire warranty. Now, not like bumper to bumper things, so like if a seat backlight comes loose, that would still be fixed because that doesn't have to do with the software. But in my mind, if you want to do these aftermarket things, I think it will be better or have a bigger market down the road when cars are out of warranty. However, while these cars are in warranty, I probably wouldn't want to mess with it because I wouldn't want to risk, you know, that going wrong. I mean, that's the mind of the car. That's how it drives. That's how it determines battery management and things like that. I just wouldn't want to mess with that. But it is cool to see that people are coming out with these aftermarket hacks, I guess, in order to modify your car a little bit, whether it's make it faster or enable features that I guess weren't enabled from factory. So it is cool, but there's definitely a fine line there between like, should Tesla step in and say no, or should they allow it? My biggest concern is just safety because, well, the computer's controlling the car. If you have people hacking the computers, you really have to trust them and trust that either these computers are separate from like the driving and full self-driving computers, there's no interaction there to potentially hack into and screw up, and that they're not messing with anything too bad. But either way, it is cool to see. It is neat to see these aftermarket things start to come out, but that is going to be it for this Tesla Talk Tuesday. If you guys enjoyed the content, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Would really appreciate it. But until next time, thanks for watching.